general assessment first week of practice. What do you think about the defense so far?
Well, one thing was good is after 2 days with just shorts and helmets on, to put pads on, it's always a little bit more exciting because for us, assignment, alignment, things like that, communication, that's obviously very important, but the next part about it is our reaction. It's nothing like simulating it yourself as opposed to the offense, being able to transition between run and play action, pass, and things like that. But, fundamentally, until we look at the film, obviously, after practice, but fundamentally, it looked pretty good right now.
How big of a hole did Scott Crichton's departure leave for the defense?
Well, I mean, he was a huge playmaker for us ever since he's been here. His stats prove out, that fact. We don't know. We have to find out the who's next, who steps up, can take his place. Plays will come in a different way, We'll do some different things defensively, from a movement standpoint, probably if we have to compensate if we have to. At the same time, the other holes are our two corners. With both Rashad Reynolds and Martin leaving.
How do you fill those holes?
Right now, Larry Scott. He's the first one up, and that's always critical because of the fact that it's tough to hide a corner. So we've got a ways to go.
Can you talk about Dylan Wynn's leadership? Ever since Scott left, has he moved up to become the leader of the D-line?
Well, Dylan's always been a leader. He came from a storied high school, De La Salle High School, where I think leadership's built into that program, and he came with that. And he's always been a leader, so to speak, whether it be in the D-line or just with the total team, weight room, off the field, as well as here. So. He hasn't changed, and hopefully he doesn't change, and he just takes care of himself as well as just being a good leader by example as well.
What are some of the things, can you give me an example of what he does on and off the field that makes him such a leader?
Well, I think number one, he does a great job in the classroom. Any responsibilities he has from a standpoint of if it's a study hall, if it's just going to a simple thing like going to class, being in a meeting on time, all those things. He leads by example. He just does the right thing, and that's what you want more than vocal leadership to begin with, and then the vocal part comes, after you earn that respect.
What do you think? How do you think Obum is transitioning to the defense?
I've got no idea. I know he'd look good coming off the bus, and things like that. But I'm very interested to see right now when we go up. Whatever reps he took today, it'd be interesting just to see what he has. I think the biggest thing to begin with is just the physicality. A little bit different going from wide open spaces to, right in the thick of the battle. So we'll see how that transitions. We know he's a good athlete. We'll see how we can use that 7'2" high jumper as a defensive end, and he's long as it is. So we've got to find a part for him as long as he's willing and able and gives great effort.
How involved were you in that process as far as when you guys all started to think of maybe moving him to defense?
I wasn't at all.
Okay.
That was strictly from the top on down, and we're always trying to find places where good people, good athletes can help this program. And, he's done it not only as a wide receiver, but he's done it on special teams. So, when we first recruited him, I know Coach Joe had his eye on him when he came to a camp that we had and said, hey, I wouldn't mind having that long sucker at a defensive end, so he's finally got him. So let's see where we go from there.
How big that group was pretty banged up last year, but we got him back this year. Is that the strength of this team?
Yeah, well, paper's considered wood, isn't it? So I'll knock on that. Well, I know this. It's a good group. We've got some able bodies to work with. The three guys that are in there right now, Jabril, along with DJ, and it's great to have Michael back because again, we referred a little bit ago to Dylan Wynn as far as the leader within the group. That was probably the biggest thing that we lost. When we lost Michael too, we lost his spirit and that emotional leadership and the things he knows. About the offense, and those little clues pre-snap and things of that nature. So on paper, it looks good. Now we've got to go out and do it with that group.
Through a week, what have you seen from Jabril, just the move to the middle?
Well, Jabril walks just a little bit different, and that started last year. He went from just a guy, you know, as a backup to DJ Alexander to the first team outside linebacker, and then Michael Doctor goes down. Now then he takes on a big load. He was in our sub package, playing the middle linebacker position, our signal caller, adjustment maker, and things of that. And then as the time went on, even last year, you know, he changed. He developed. He became more mature. He didn't feel the burden, I don't think. I think he relished the role that he was playing, and you could see it in the offseason. You know, he's not a guy that struts around with his head up in the air, but just kind of walking, just with a little bit more power, his feet down in the ground, you know, and just, I think overall he just feels better about himself and more confident.
Would you say your defensive line is the most inexperienced, and what do they have to do? What do you want to see from them this spring?
Well, you know, I don't know, experienced, inexperienced. If you're going to play, then you're experienced. Right after that first snap, I think the most experienced position that we have right now is out at the corner that was vacated by Rashard Reynolds and Sean Martin. But out of our D-line, you know, number one, tough, physical, dominate the line of scrimmage, and then get back to the passer. Lane integrity, contain, get to the feet of the quarterback, and just be relentless in their pass rush, and again, dominate the line of scrimmage. It always starts there.
Does Grimble help fill that hole that, you know, in the D-line, and when Crichton left? Does Jalen?
Well, you know, the first criteria was he dominated on scout team last year. Now let's see if he can dominate here in spring practice up front with our offensive line, and then you know, the truth will be told once we get into the season to see how dominant he is. He looks good. He looks the part, and again, you know, he's bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. Looks to appear that you know, he's into it and wants to do things. He's athletic, and you know, only time will tell now.
Do you think it was good for him, you know, since he had to sit out last year? Do you think it was good for him just to, you know, get a feel of like the program and everything, and just like sit on the sideline?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was almost like a red shirt year for him. You know, he got comfortable with his teammates. He learned how we do things around here, what Coach Riley wants, and then obviously what we want out of him on defense, and then what specifically his position coach, Coach Sayamalo, wants, and now he's in it, and we hope and we expect him to play an integral part in what we do.